So this is a video to explain my approach to the 56th Avenue corridor project in Denver. I then visited prior to the site visit with the other artists, and I spent a couple days just walking around the community and getting familiar with the residents and the refuge, and just kind of getting a sense of what would work for this project, what would work best. Anyway, we're going to start off with a walk up 56. I thought the trailhead, because I didn't really look at the map, there's a thing I do sometimes where I try my best to get lost, or if at least not get lost, at least experience things in an unprogrammed way. I find that that works well for me as an artist, that frequently what I'm looking for is not something that I know that I'm looking for. And you'll see immediately that that it worked for me. I was headed for the trailhead to go up into the refuge. This was Sunday morning. I didn't think that there would be a lot going on in the community. It was still fairly early, so I thought I'd hit the refuge first. And I walked up Peoria, up toward 56th Avenue. And what I ran into up there was, of course, not the trailhead, but the actual arsenal. And you'll see that. But anyway, well, let's get to it. So here I am in Denver, and I'm here to look at the 56th Corridor Art Project I'm a finalist for. And I've made the choice to just walk the neighborhood, and now I'm going to walk up and see what I can find. I headed up to the Arsenal Reserve, and going to go by the art center on the way and just check it out, see what Montbello is all about. Thanks for barking at me, I appreciate it. Yeah, you're a good dog. What a good dog. Oh, there's another one. Another good dog. What's going on, guys? All right, good. So we're coming up on the corner here, 56th. I mean, it's up there a ways. We're at 55th. It's construction-y. Let's see what we see. This is maybe one of the trailheads. I'm not sure. So we just turned on 56th. I think this is the old arsenal. So it's clearly still some kind of active military stuff going on here. Now, you know, I'm thinking of like old military equipment with, oh, here they are. My buddies. Ground squirrels. Yeah, I call them ground squirrels. I meant prairie dogs, obviously. I was just so excited that I forgot. Forgot. Ground squirrels are what we have here in Eastern Washington. They're a smaller version of a ground-dwelling mammal, and they fill the same niche in the ecosystem. So that's why I call them ground squirrels. But I was just absolutely blown away by the prairie dogs. I had never met prairie dogs or hung out with prairie dogs. I didn't realize just how cute they were, and how sweet and social and funny, and I was just instantly entranced. So I took a little video as best I could. Obviously, I didn't have the proper equipment, so this video is really shaky. It's just kind of a, you know, I'm shooting these videos to just kind of remind myself about what the experience was like. And even so, you can see how daggone cute they are. So this is a pose I didn't anticipate. It's the butt up and tail flip thing. So if I come over here, see, oh, there he goes. Nope. Peeping, tail wagging, sitting on 4 legs. Standing up together, diving in a hole, running around. That's more like the pose I was thinking of. And so after hanging out with the prairie dogs for a little bit, I headed down to the Uvalde entrance to the refuge, which is further down 56, heading in the easterly direction there. And I did not, I mean, I'd seen, you know, check Google Maps, looked at Street View, stuff like that, but I did not realize the extent to which the corridor is also a utilities corridor. There's buried underground pipelines, and there's even one that says, I hydrocarbon. I can't remember what it says. Basically, it's like there's gasoline running through pipes under the ground or something, and I'm like, or petroleum, oil, or whatever. Like, oh wow, okay, so underground. That's kind of like we probably shouldn't plan on digging anything very deeply underground, or at least it's got to be a very specific locations. And then the power lines overhead. There's these huge power lines everywhere, and it's going to really restrict where things go. Making my way down to the trailhead, and I'll share a little video here of what that looks like. So there's this little area where the fence bumps out, and it looks like there's like a 10-foot space there, although maybe there's some sewer or irrigation or something running in there. I see a pipe and another thing. Maybe we could sneak something in along the sidewalk here. Yeah, and here we are at the first access point. And let's see, this is the drainage enhancement. There's this little area right there, which I think is outside of the power lines. That could be a fun prairie dog right there, maybe. Here's evidence of a lot of usage. So people are definitely coming in and out of here. This thing is all kind of falling apart. So people go in and out of this gate a lot, I guess. So that's cool. And yeah, there's those buffalo. That's the website right there. So I'm coming in at Uvalde, and I'm going to go up here. And I don't know, maybe I'll go up to this lake. Looks like maybe there's some fun stuff up there. So I'm going to go down this trail, left, right, all that like that. And then come back down and come out down here. Just remembered I forgot PPE. I'm supposed to get a vest or hard hat. I do have steel-toed boots. Anyway. Happy family. Walking out. This is a big moment right here that's about to happen. I'm about to meet this family that's walking down the path, and I didn't videotape any people while I was there. I find cameras to be kind of intrusive when they're pointed at me, and I wasn't there to document the people. I was there to document my experience. This was a mom coming down the path out of the refuge with 4 kids. She's carrying 1 kid and got 3 more in tow. And just as we're crossing paths, the youngest walking one gets a rock in their shoe and immediately sits down on the ground, takes off their shoe, and now there's rocks in their shorts and rocks in their socks, and there's just rocks everywhere, and the whole family has to stop and sort it out. And as I'm passing by, I gave mom a thumbs up, like, and like, good job, mom. And she laughed and said, yeah, that she was doing her best to keep getting these kids out into nature. And we didn't really have a chance to talk very much, but I could see the work that she was doing to get these kids up into the refuge. This was really inspirational, meeting this family. And this is the next day. I'm editing the video, and I realized I missed a couple things, so jumping in again. But the idea of family really resonated. The families of Montbello, the families of the animals living in the refuge, how important it is to get kids connected with nature. It helps so much with the global perspective if you can meet wild animals, not in a zoo, but wild animals living their own lives in their own homes, so their own natural environment. And that this mom was working so hard to get those kids up there. And it's, it is a challenge. There's rocks in the socks, like we saw. Or like I talked about. I guess I didn't videotape that, so you did get to see it. But it got me thinking about art that's not just one piece. It's art that's many pieces. Like the whole art is maybe one piece, but there's pieces of it scattered around. And to connect the different parts of this corridor together and make it into a more of a transformational experience for people who are walking, people who are biking. You've got reasons to get from here to there, and represent an art that represents the community, not art that represents the history of the community or art that represents an abstract idea, but art that just directly reflects what I was seeing, which was family and home and connection to it. And it's just it was starting to make all the pieces fall together in my mind. But anyway, really powerful moment. Really, really glad that I ran into them. And if that family is ever watching this video, I don't know if that would ever happen. But if you do, you are directly inspiration for that, the sketch of the these guys, the mom and kid cuddling, kissing piece. That's directly inspired by you. So anyway, off we go. I'm going to keep walking. They kept walking, and I kept walking, and here we go. So I'm here where the deer sleep. There's little deer beds everywhere, and they're over there. They're woke them up from a nap. Now they're like, oh, what's that guy doing? I'll get out of here. And pelicans. Another big crane type birds. There's a bunch of them over there. So I just met Jessica and Danny, who are just an absolutely adorable couple. They live in the neighborhood and they come out here all the time. And they said that's been gradually getting more use as people are discovering it. This entrance at Uvalde is new. And yeah, like that. Okay, it's turning into a long, hot slog underneath that sun. Black t-shirt, getting all sweaty. Anyways, the effort was worth it. We're aiming for somewhere up there. Oh my God, some shade. Thank you, trees. I'm gonna sit on this bench for a minute and have a break. There's a slog. Looks like I got a shorter one coming up. You can see the power lines. Right in the middle of downtown Denver. It was at this point that I realized that I was going to have to change my plans. I was running out of water. I was getting sunburned. I'd underestimated or didn't realize or didn't think about the 5,000 foot elevation and all that sunshine, and I didn't have sunblock. And so I had read about Walmart being the sort of the place to shop, and I knew that Walmart was directly south of where I was headed, that Greenway trailhead. And so I started aiming for that, and I stopped videoing because my phone was almost dead. And I needed enough service left or enough battery left to call an Uber when I got there, because there was no way I was going to be able to walk all the way back to the hotel. I mean, I could have, but I was pretty tired at that point and uncomfortable. So I aimed for Walmart, and that trip down along the, down to the trailhead across 56th, and down to Walmart, like it really highlighted like the active places where people are walking or going in and out of those trailheads. But there's not a lot of activity along the north side of 56. It's all on the south side where there's grass and shade, and it's just a much more hospitable place for a pedestrian. So again, thinking about distributed art. And then I got to Walmart, and I was blown away. I'd heard Walmart, and I thought big box store like we have locally, but it was more like a Whole Foods kind of Walmart, fresh market or something like that. And it was like good looking food for reasonable prices. And like the people that were shopping there, it was just such a wonderfully rich and dynamic and diverse community that was presented there at Walmart. And it's to see people at the when they're shopping is a chance to like look a little bit, and I was definitely a little bit out of it, dehydrated and sunburned and whatever. I was able to get everything I needed, and it was great. And it did highlight some of the difficulty in being a pedestrian in Montbello, or really anywhere in these big western cities, and kind of how hard it is to get around on foot, and the public transit is a little bit confusing, and it was easier for me just to take an Uber back to the hotel. But which is what I did. I needed a nap. This kind of looking for inspiration for art can be kind of exhausting. And I definitely stretched myself a little bit. So I went back to the hotel and took a nap and did some research on prairie dogs. And they are amazing. It turns out, like, they have an incredible ability to communicate. When they chirp, it's a whole sentence. It's like saying this whole sentence, but just as one sound. And the words are embedded as rising and falling frequencies or overlays in the chord. It's super cool. They're so smart. And like the more videos I watched on the YouTube about prairie dogs, the more excited I got about like making some prairie dogs. But I did also write down all of my other art ideas just to kind of keep all the other doors open, because I had been thinking about more like, big art along the corridor. But now it's starting to look and feel a lot more like prairie dogs, or what I want to go for. But I still needed to go walk around the community. I didn't have a real sense of the housing and how people are using the parks, if they were, like what was going on in the community. So I went back and took a nap, and then woke up and went back out again. So not too far from the hotels. Hotel's on the other side of those giant buildings over there. There's an open space that has some art in it. There's like a climbing rock over there. But what is going on here? This looks like something fell over. Yes, I would say that is evidence of putting your rods too close to the edge. And yeah, thankfully they built sturdy art, because it doesn't appear to have suffered any problems, these scratches, but this is massive, massive metal. This must have been a shade structure tethered to those U-bolts up there. That's definitely what it was, right? And then the wind came up and it fell over. Yeah, cool. Lots of very nice concrete patterning. Days grow shorter. Yes, they do. This is something that I noticed too. It's like there's some fairly extreme environments that this art is going to have to survive. I saw evidence of a lot of decay on structures like bus benches, where the powder coat had peeled off and it was corroding underneath. And then I see evidence here of either too much snow or too much wind for that footing. They need to be sturdy. They need to be well anchored down. They need to be ready for a big blow and a whole lot of snow. So, just something I'm observing as I wander about. It's just a wonderful variety in the houses. I mean, I know it's a planned development, but they did a nice job of mixing up the various angles and how they're presented to the street. Like nowadays, they just make them all look exactly the same. But that house has had a do-over, I suppose. Cool. And this nice big park. Kids out and about. All I see are nicely painted houses. Nice cars. Look, this car gets its own special parking spot right here. That's funny. So this is the Montbello Central Park. And there's people all over. There's a bunch of people over there having races. They're obviously a pretty happy community. People that like each other and like to hang out, have fun with each other. There is evidence of graffiti, but by cultured eye, it's not really that good yet. Like they were saying. No motorized vehicles. I think that counts as a motorized vehicle, dude. These vehicles can cause damage to park property. Nice big baseball field. Must be fun in the summer. Tennis courts, not being very used. Squirrel. Tennis squirrel. What's going on, tennis squirrel? That is an impressive high school. Wow. Looks amazing. With all due respect, that is a beautiful cloverage. Notice one back here too. And I thought, there's somebody that knows their nuts. These waterway things really divide the neighborhood. I'm kind of following them up. I think this is where the Uvalde, might even be on Uvalde. No, I'm 51st Street. It's kind of a confusing neighborhood because the roads go back and forth all over the place. It's very wiggly, kind of confusing. But that's all part of the fun, right? Xanadu Street. I think I'm gonna go down Xanadu. So there's people playing on the street behind me. That's pretty cool. Kind of terrifying as a pedestrian though. These cars come running down these roads, going well over the speed limit, looking really fancy, but kind of terrifying at night. Well, that was fun. The boys caught me videoing their car and they came out and we had to talk about it and they started it for me and all kinds of stuff. It was cool. And so, what am I seeing here? Very cute neighborhood full of very interested and young, dynamic families is what I'm seeing. And here we are. This is where I went in, I believe, or just down the road from it. Where would you see something? Anyway, we're coming up on Uvalde. I'll try to get some sightline perspectives as we cross the road up here. Okay, so this is a little area. It's very tempting for some cute prairie dogs. In fact, there is a prairie dog right over there. So I think you can start to see, like, the one side of 56 is green. It's nice to walk. The other side is gray. Anyway, I'm going to walk down and try to fill in the gap where I missed by going up into the refuge and coming back down. I'm going to walk across. It's all pretty grim on that north side. The only other person I think I ran into up there was a rollerblader who was absolutely flying. It looked like so much fun. And maybe a cyclist as well. So I pretty quickly give up on the north side of 56, except for at the trailheads. There's places to really put art and make my way back across the street, and then I'm going to walk home through the neighborhood. And I'm at Crown Boulevard now. And I think I'm going to duck into the city and head back toward the hotel. Because believe it or not, now I'm actually starting to get cold. And I'm going to hit the button. But this space over here, this is much friendlier. Like maybe there could be a groundhog or something, or a little groundhogs over here. It's quite inviting. It goes up and down little hills and stuff. Like imagining some little bits around here. Cheetos. SB. Very impressive tower. Yeah, much more gentler bounce on this side. Look at these birds. What are you doing? You sure are a pretty kitty. Oh, it started. What a high school. Holy cow. Got drummers going on over here.
turbar tu rezo, que para mí es sagrado. Por tu carita buena.
So I had a fun little interaction with a couple of kids that were playing in the street. One had a sword. I had to compliment them on their sword, of course. It was a nice one. It looks like someone had actually made it. It was made out of wood. And I think this might actually be a hill. This must be Mont in Montbello. We're going up here now. And we get into an area of very nice looking apartments, actually. They're quite tidy. This is the environmental learning for kids. The finding this sort of resource in the community was also very inspirational. That I could make this work on multiple levels, not only as art for art's sake, but art as a way to sort of build a connection between the youth and nature, which is something that I think is very important. And excited to see this in the community. And so I'm definitely reaching out to them as part of this project. And the schools, that amazing high school. So impressed. Given the history of Montbello, the fact they didn't get a school until the middle 80s. Wow, what a high school. And then there's like the lower or the younger classes. There's different schools all around. So plenty of opportunity to get involved and, use the art to build a little bit more of a connection to not only the art itself, but to the refuge and prairie dogs and like that. It's exciting. I keep getting trapped by fences as I'm just letting my feet take me where they know they should go. And they're doing a really good job, but I keep running into fences. And I gotta backtrack, go back around, and it looks like I'm coming up on another such diversion. And here's a cute little taco stand. Just the cutest ever. I had dinner here last night. I'll probably do it again tomorrow night. But now I'm gonna go eat some hummus and chill out. So the next day was the meeting with the other artists to look at the site, and then I spent that lasted it was very brief, and I got a ride back to the hotel with one of the other artists, and we had a nice conversation, and then I went back out again and walked around, more of the same kind of thing, just going up through the neighborhoods and talking to people when I could and saying hello and just seeing what was up. And then I went up and spent another couple hours with the prairie dogs, and then came back and wrote up all my notes and got ready for the trip to Washington the following morning. It was an early morning flight. But I think that's enough. That was a full day of just experiencing Montbello. And again, I didn't really video my interactions with people, so it might seem like that it was empty, but there was a lot of things going on that I didn't videotape. So talking to people that were out working on their cars or working in the yard, and usually it was just a hello or how you doing, and not a lot of interaction, but sometimes I got into some actual conversations, and that was fun. But what a great neighborhood. I'm so excited to get to build art for Montbello and for the Refuge and for the prairie dogs. And I'm just so excited, not only as a sculptor, but as someone who really appreciates this community and wants to do art that fits, not art that's just dropped in and set up and that's it, but art that will kind of carry on doing its work even after you've seen it once. Like, so much art you see one time and that's the experience. And what I'm trying to do here is something a little different, where individually the prairie dogs will be stunning, but collectively they'll work to do so much more than any one piece could do, to tie both sides of the corridor together, to tie the community to the refuge, to invite interaction, to encourage pedestrians to explore a little more. And yeah, anyway, I can go on and on, but I think that this video hopefully gets across that I really took some time to think about art that would be appropriate for this project. And I'm very excited to present my ideas and really looking forward to the project as a whole. Thanks for watching.